Welcome back to the second segment about Veterans Benefits with Douglas Marble. Douglas, during the first segment, we definitely addressed a whole lot. In this second and final segment, is there something very important that we missed that you think that we need to talk about?
Well, honestly, within the VA, Vietnam veterans are the hot issue.
Okay.
They really are. Even though Afghanistan and Iraq had winded down some years ago, that honestly the Veterans Administration and the United States really understands that they did a disservice to the Vietnam veteran. So obviously when they came home, there were no yellow ribbons on the trees and no parades and things. Well, back in the 90s, I guess the Veterans Administration did come out with an actual listing, what they call presumptive conditions.
Okay. Explain that.
Well, a presumptive condition is a condition. There are many types of cancers, but predominantly it's prostate cancer, diabetes, lung cancer, throat cancer, colorectal, skin cancer. If those particular veterans, a Vietnam veteran, was to come down with one of those conditions, he or she can file a claim for disability benefits, which entitles them to the 5 pillars: life insurance, educational benefits, VA home loan, medical care, and then again a monthly income tax-free for the rest of their lives.
Okay, I appreciate that you summed it up for me. As I begin to look at situations now where you have a lot of different workshops that goes around the city, what, is it difficult to get people to attend? If so, why?
Well, I would say some of it is disbelief. Again, I've been doing this for 6 years as an independent consultant myself. And again, fortunately, we were at an event this morning, and how many people were there?
Okay.
That was one person.
Right.
I would typically take a look around and to say, with the information that's disseminated, the information that's out there, I said this should be standing room only. I mean, it should be a line, just like buying Jordan's gym shoes, right?
So tell me, Douglas, what is that we need to do to motivate veterans in our community to come out to your workshop to get this information?
Okay, well, that's a good question. I'd say you may not be a veteran, but 9 times out of 10, ask a family member, ask a coworker or someone that you know that served in the military, are you receiving your benefits? More than likely than not, they'll say, what benefits? That means they don't know. They've never even heard of it. And it's always been there. It's one of the best kept secrets in America.
Could you estimate roughly about how much money you think these veterans are missing out
Well,
a year?
You put a yearly phase on it, and at the very least, it's $133 a month.
Okay.
That's enough to pay a cell phone bill. Cell phones are necessities now.
Right.
It's a way of reaching out and keeping in contact. But again, upwards of $3,000. You know, I know 2 Vietnam veterans that are receiving over $9,000 a month.
And when you would you say that probably many of our veterans today are in the poverty position or not? Or is that difficult to know?
No, that's not difficult to know. That you take your typical retiree from the city of Detroit, okay, retired from the city went through a bankruptcy, but a lot of those retirees are veterans and they're not even tapping into their VA benefits. That's just enough to be able to maintain their lifestyle.
But what quality of lifestyle are we talking about for many of our vets? When I watch the television and I see a lot of elderly vets who are living in living conditions that's terrible.
Okay.
You know, so how do we address that?
Well, again, it's not going to make anyone rich, but you take your typical Vietnam veteran, if he's receiving $3,100 a month from the VA and a pension from a job, plus their Social Security, that's a little bit of a better, higher living lifestyle. Then he's receiving medical care from the VA, life insurance at $10,000, the ability to go to school. It's lifestyle benefits.
You know, I was watching the news the other day, and I noticed that different groups are getting like millions of dollars to renovate buildings to house people in. When I look at the inner cities, I don't see that happening in the black community, where there's housing and millions of dollars being contributed to veterans that live in the city to get the same type of housing. Is that on us for not doing the homework or what?
Yes, we do have to take ownership on information that we do not disseminate. And again, it's unfortunately one of the most demoralizing things that I have to go through. I mean, if you imagine my journey about receiving my benefits, helping others receive theirs, but if the information is not disseminated to other people, I'm going to keep meeting World War II veterans that never heard it. If we don't share information, then our people perish for lack of knowledge.
Okay.
We keep it a secret. And who is that hurting? Us as a people.
Yes, yes.
When are we going to change?
Okay. So when we go to the VA hospital, do they have a certain responsibility to give us that information, or if we don't ask, they don't
You
say?
won't know.
We
Well,
won't know.
the VA's responsibility is to address your medical conditions.
Okay.
They don't talk about compensation. That's not in the scope of their business. That's where the network is, at the VA hospital. You overhear conversations, and some people explain things, and some say, well, I don't know, somebody just helped me fill out some paperwork. But that's our responsibility as a community to share the information and to disseminate that information because it's there for everyone.
What about training for veterans? Often I hear about that there's a lack of skilled trades people with the development that's going on in the city. Do you know about any special funded training programs that's targeted towards vets to teach them some of the skilled trades to get them into the job market?
Well, one of the benefits is, again, vocational rehabilitation and employment. That's one of the pillars of VA benefits, where you can go back to school, you pick a discipline, such as what if you want to be a truck driver or an electrician. You can go to school. The VA will pay you a stipend to go to school, pay for all of the books and the courses, plus if you need a tutor, pay for all of that, so that you can get a journeyman or a some type of certification. All of that's available, but we have to learn to initiate that.
So do you find that most of the vets that come across your way, they think that maybe that they are too old to go into a training program, and they just want to increase their benefits? They just want the money.
Well, they just want what they want, and unfortunately, there is no age criteria.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
age is not a criteria with the VA benefits.
Okay. Okay. So in reference to the younger vets, what's being targeted towards them to maybe get them more involved?
That's a good question. Now, the branches of service had changed the exit, which means when someone gets discharged from the service, now they do a pre-inventory, such as those coming back from Afghanistan or those that went to Iraq. They ask the veteran before they even get discharged, were you ever injured? Did you have any conditions? Do you need to seek counseling, so that they don't recreate the same mistakes that they did with the Vietnam veteran? Now they're asking those young veterans, do you have any issues? Would you like to see a doctor?
Okay, I appreciate that. But Douglas, before we close out, do me a favor. Would you please look into that camera and tell the veterans how can they reach you for more information?
Well, I appreciate this opportunity. And again, we go back some years, and again, I am dedicated to doing what someone did for me. And again, my name is Douglas MacArthur Marble, and my phone number is area code 586-744-2739, or by email, dmarble9@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right, and thank you.
All right.
And once again, I want to thank you for watching Community Report. I'm Bernard Craig Spraggan. I want to thank my guest, Douglas Marble.